evening, which is our program director, our master of ceremonies, or as Setswana, what we call our Motsamaisa Tiro. Our Toastmaster of the evening tonight is none other than the friendly face most of us firstly at Toastmasters or here at Gaborone Toastmasters, being our interim SAA who just left the stage, Toastmaster Liam Sunga. Liam Suga is a Toastmaster enthusiast who has served on many roles here at Toastmasters. She's currently holding the fort as both our Vice President Membership and Vice President of Education. And she continues to support our club and district in several roles, both on the cabinet and in other extracurricular activities. She has written for the Achieving Excellence magazine and continues to serve this district and this club diligently. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Leah Msunga.
Thank you so much for those words, Demelo. And I want to say welcome to you all once again to Gaborone Toastmasters. As she stated, I'm the Toastmaster of the day, and that basically means that I am the MC. I'll be the one guiding the ship. And it's an honor to be here in front of you all with our theme for today, Moments of Truth. I'm sure if you are a Toastmaster, you would think, what was that moment that made me want to join Toastmaster? Definitely, I definitely have that moment. It was me attending my first meeting after a friend invited me just to see what it was all about, and just seeing all the amazing, eloquent speakers made me realize that this was the right environment that could help me overcome my fear of speaking in front of people. And I must say, it has been a very interesting journey, and I've enjoyed every part of the journey as it has progressed. And I hope if you are a guest today, might be that moment of truth for you where you will decide that you need to start your own journey in public speaking to help you to progress better. And maybe if you're already a Toastmaster, maybe this will be a moment that will help you to prepare yourself even further to achieve your own goals that you have set for yourself. So as the Toastmaster of the day, I don't do this role by myself, but before I call my role players to the virtual stage, I would like to invite back Tumelo to the virtual stage to please give us the toast of the day. So if you have any tea, I know it's very cold right now. If you have tea or a glass of water nearby, I would like to encourage you, please grab a cup and get ready as we get the toast of the evening.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. And as you said, the moment of truth where we all decided to join Toastmasters, I think we all remember our why. And at Toastmasters, we've come to appreciate the many traditions that exist here at Toastmasters, and the toast of the evening being one of them. So please, like she said, grab a glass, a cup, and let's raise our glasses to the moments that challenge us, to those moments that reveal our strength, and to the truth we find when we dare to step up. As Oprah Winfrey once said, you don't become what you want, you become what you believe. So here's to the moments that shape our beliefs and the courage to live them. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Dumelo. I'll then call to the virtual stage some role players who will be helping me along the way. And I would like to start with our, I think our grammarian. I think I saw the grammarian is already on the call. Yes, our grammarian, Boikutso, a very new member in our club, gave the icebreaker speech about a week ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So Boikutso, I'd like to invite you to our virtual stage to please tell us about the role this evening. You can just switch on your camera so you can be spotlighted. Hello, Boikutso. Hello,
Sorry
Boiputso.
about
You
that.
can tell us about no.
Hello.
Tell us about
Sorry
your
about
role
that.
today.
I was rushing through traffic. Um, Good evening, Toastmasters. Um, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role today is of the grammarian. That means that I'll be paying close attention to all the speakers, monitoring their language and their grammar by noting any misuse of the English language and oh, sorry, any misuse of the English language, grammar usage. I'll be doing this by noting any incomplete sentences, mispunctuation, and errors in the grammar codes and sayings. Do I introduce the word of the day?
Yes, please.
Okay. The word of the day is candor. This is the quality of being open and honest. Okay. An example of it is a of refreshing. Thank you, Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Boiputso, for that. And yes, fellow Toastmasters, if you're coming to the virtual stage, we want to encourage you to please use the word of the day that is candor. And it is shared, the agenda is shared, it's in the chat in case you want to follow along with our meeting for today. I would now like to invite our timer, Buntle, to please come and tell us about your role this evening. Buntle.
Greetings, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As your timer tonight, I will be responsible for timing the speeches and evaluations. I'm not sure if we're going to have table topics. If we're going to have those, I will be timing them as well. So for those that will be given speeches, if your speech is 4 to 6 minutes long, at 4 minutes, I will give you our green highlighter to show you that you are at 4 minutes. And when you are at 5 minutes, I will raise the yellow. 6 minutes, that will be our red. And it's important we will treat it as a red. And if your speeches are 5 to 7 minutes long, at 5 minutes, I'm going to raise a green. At 6 minutes, I will raise a yellow. And then at 7 minutes, I will raise red. For the evaluations, they are supposed to be 2 to 3 minutes long. So at 2 minutes, I will raise a green. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll raise a yellow. And then at 3 minutes, I will raise a red. So I hope that we will have a good time tonight and say our speeches within the time frame that we are given. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that, Buntle. I hope all our speakers are soon to be raising those colored pens. We tried to improvise at the last minute. So, and then I would like to ask our hack master, Kahelelo, to please come and tell us about the role. Kahelelo?
Yes, I'm coming.
Oh, all right.
I wanted to add the background, but it's fine. Hug, an old-fashioned word for listen up. Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role this evening is to encourage effective listening. I'll be compiling questions to run at the end of the speeches, to run a quiz at the end of the speeches. So listen up and I'll return at the end. Thank you very much. And back to you, Leah.
Thank you so much for that. And apologies, it looks like my R&R counter is not able to make it for the meeting. So I don't know if there's someone in the room who could assist us by being the R&R counter. And my R&R counter just sent a message. Anyone, you can just raise your hand. Any Toastmaster? Okay, then I don't know if I can ask Buikutso, our grammarian, as you are noting down the English words, if you can also just note down any filler words, the as and ums.
Okay, that's not a problem. I can do that.
All right, thank you so much for that. So those are the role players for the evening who are practicing their listening skills. So our meeting will be divided into two parts. So the first part is what we call the better listening part. So this is the section where people have spent some time preparing for their speeches, and then we're going to have the better listening. So this is where we receive feedback for the speeches that have been presented. So we're now going to get into our prepared speeches segment, our first part. And currently our first speaker is not on the call. They'll come in a bit later. So we're gonna go straight into our second speaker according to the agenda. And I think I have seen that person arriving. Halaletsang, good evening. And I know Halaletsang's evaluator is Palesa, who is here. Good evening, Halaletsang.
Evening, sorry for that. Sorry, evening.
All right. Yes, so we are starting with you this evening.
Okay, no problem.
All right. So I'd like to invite Palesa to the virtual stage to please give us the speech objectives of Halaletsang's speech. Palesa.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters, and esteemed guests. I will be evaluating Khalilzang this evening, and the purpose of Khalilzang's speech is to practice using vocal variety and body language to enhance her speech. So we are expecting to see Khalilzang use a lot of do I put? We are expecting that in her speech, she will be using a lot of vocal variety and yeah, thanks. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for that, Palesa. And I would now like to invite Halaletsang to the virtual stage. Halaletsang, if you can please switch on your video. All right, there she is now. Okay, so with the speech title, Virtues of Friendship, Virtues of Friendship, Halaletsang.
Okay, good evening. Please confirm if you see my screen and can hear me.
Yes, we can see you and we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, Toastmasters Club. The title for today is the Virtues of Friendship. So, what is friendship really? So, friendship is a basic human need. We all need a friend in life. As we grow old, we tend to take friendship less seriously. We tend to spend less and less time with our friends, although we need them, right? So a friend is somebody who is there for you when you're going through the most in life, somebody who will help you to walk through the journey of life. They are the people who bring the best in us, who makes us laugh and make us happy. So we all need a friend in life. So, like I've said, as we grow old, we tend to take our friendships less seriously, mainly because we tend to think that we don't need friends, and we see this as a form of weakness to need another person. Another thing that I have realized is that we tend to value romantic relationships more when compared to friendships. But it's often that romantic relationships, we end up being heartbroken. It's inevitable that one ends up being heartbroken, right? So friendships, we should value friendships more and more. So going back to the topic of today, which is the virtues of friendship. So a virtue is a trait or a character which is in our psychological composition. So as we form friendships, they are those characters that we should see in our friends. So I will go through the list of the virtues and explain them one by one. The first one, virtue that you should see in your friend is trust. So trust is an anchor, is I would explain it as a cornerstone of any long-lasting and healthy friendship. So there should be trust amongst us as we form friendships. And another virtue or trait that we should see in friendships is respect. There should be mutual respect. We should be able to respect each other's opinions, each other's boundaries as we relate on the journey of friendship. Another trait that we should see as we form long-lasting and healthy friendships is compassion. We should be able to empathize with each other's journey or the challenges that they meet throughout the journey of life. So for stronger friendships, they should be compassion. Another trait, which will be the last one from me, is honesty. There is no how we can form healthy relationships without being honest. We should be honest with our feelings, honest in our opinions for long-lasting friendships. So in conclusion, I would like to say that we all need friends for a happy life and for a better quality of life. That is the end from me. Thank you for this opportunity.
So much. Halaletsang, I'd like to encourage us all to unmute and just give her a big round of applause. Woo, woo, woo. Well done, well done. Well done. Indeed, learning more and more about friendship. I would then go on to our next speaker, and that is Onkameti. And before Onkameti comes to the virtual stage, I want to invite Onkameti's evaluator, Salfina, to please come to the virtual stage and give us Onkameti's speech objectives. Salfina? Good evening, Salfina. Oh, I've been seeing her dropping in and out. Okay, looks like she has dropped off again. But Onkameti, so Onkameti's speech is write a speech with purpose. Tumelo, I don't know if you could just maybe evaluate her, because
Yes,
I've
I'll
been
do
seeing.
that.
So this, I can maybe just read the speech objectives for Onkameti before she gives the speech, just so we can move along. So let me just open it. So the speech objectives of Onkameti's speech is for the member to learn and review basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. So with the speech title, The Power of Being Seen, The Power of Being Seen, Onkameti.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My speech is about the power of being seen. It's a story about Monica. Monica was a 50-year-old woman. At one point, she used to be going through medical school and also majored in international languages. As time went by, she was doing her master's degree and both her parents died. So when Monica's parents died, the first parent who died was Monica's father. So she went to take care of her father. And then shortly after, her mother died. So she had to leave school. After leaving school, without completing her master's in international languages, Monica ended up working as a cleaner in a huge international corporation. So Monica was always helping when she was mopping the receptions. A lot of clients would come in, some were Mandarin, some were Spanish. At one point when she was mopping the floors, one Mandarin client passed by at the reception. He was a bit confused about something and then he asked for directions from Monica. Monica spoke in Mandarin to the client. After speaking in Mandarin, she helped another delivery guy in the reception with a translation of Spanish language. She was able to speak also to Arabic clients, as and when they came in, they asked for any help. Anytime she would be doing her cleaning duties in the lobby. So at one point, when she was explaining all these, the CEO caught the CEO's eyes. And then he was wondering, what is this cleaner talking to my client about? And then the person that Monica was explaining to was a Latin client, and he looked worried initially. As Monica explained in Latin, the CEO saw the client becoming a bit relaxed. And then as the CEO used to be doing his rounds every morning, he will monitor Monica without her seeing it and notice that Monica speaks a lot of languages. One day, the CEO approached Monica and asked, "Where did you learn all these languages?" And then she explained her storyline to the CEO. The CEO was a man of kind personality. So he was able to listen to Monica's story. And then he had some Moroccan clients that he needed to close a deal with. And he gave Monica, he said, can you come and help me with something? Read this contract I have in Moroccan language. Can you please try to translate this language for me and see if you can be able to help? And then Monica was able to translate it, was able to explain the contract to the CEO. And then he asked her, can you be in the room when we are with the clients? And as the meeting went on, Monica agreed to be in the room as they are meeting with the clients. As the meeting went on, one of the clients passed a joke, and Monica was able to reciprocate and pass a joke again in the language. The CEO saw the atmosphere of his clients changing, and they were a bit relaxed. In the days more to come, Monica helped with a lot of clients. She spoke about 9 languages. She helped with a lot of deals they have been trying to close, but because of communication barriers and respect and language, they couldn't close those. So with the help of Monica, they were able to. So the CEO sat Monica down and asked her if she's able to come and join the team as a international liaison, as a communication person and translator for different languages. Monica was honored, but at the back of her mind, she was like, hey, am I really living this life? Am I really going to do this? Everybody has been passing me by in my janitor uniform. Now, every time I pass passages, everybody looks up. And then at one point, she signed the contract. And one point, she was in the office with the CEO and asked him, why do you have so much confidence in me? I don't have, yes, I went to school, but I didn't finish. I don't have the qualifications. You have a lot of people here who can do the job. And then he said, it is your culture and demeanor that I like. You have respect for people. So that is why I hired you. And since you came here, everybody comes to you for advice. Now we are able to close a lot of deals. It's not about the education. I care about the fact that you are able to make our clients happy and relaxed. And Monica managed to get that job. And eventually, the highlight of the story is that the time that Monica was not seen by people, nobody even greeted her before. Now that she is hired, she's now being seen in the forefront. Everybody is now paying attention and asking for help from her. This gave her so much confidence. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, the power of being seen. Woo-woo. Can I meet yourselves and give Onka Mitzi a big hand? Well done, well done. Thank you so much for that. We'll then move on to our next speaker, and that's Kamuhelo. And I would like to invite Kamuhelo's evaluator to the virtual stage to please give us the speech objectives of Kamuhelo's speech. Tato Kumani.
All right. No, thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I have the pleasure of evaluating Kamuhelo. Toastmaster Kamuhelo is doing Pathway Presentation Mastery Level 2. The purpose of the project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, to practice, and refine how She uses nonverbal communication when delivering a speech. She will be delivering a speech titled The Power of First Steps. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that. So with the speech title, as you have stated, The Power of First Steps, The Power of First Steps, Kamohela.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Have you ever stood at the edge of something new? A cliff, not of rock and stone, but of fear and uncertainty. That was me the day I decided to go for my first solo hike. Not a big deal, right? But for someone who had always played it safe, it was everything. Today, I want to share how taking that first step transformed me and how the smallest movements sometimes can change everything. I stood at the bottom of the trail, clutching my backpack like it was armor. The wind whispering through the trees like it was daring me to turn my back. I imagined all the things that could go wrong. For example, wild animals, twisted ankle, no signal. But then I remembered something my mom told me. Courage isn't loud. Sometimes it's just whispering, go away, go away. With every step, I noticed. With every step, I noticed things I hadn't seen before. The crunch of gravel underfoot, the rustling leaves. Midway through, I hit a steep incline. My legs burned. I was out of breath. But my mind was quiet, focused, and present. Something magical happens when your body moves with purpose. Your fears began to fall behind. When I reached the top, I didn't scream. I just stood there, taking it all in. I felt light. Not because the hike was over, but because I had started it all. So many of us are standing at the edge of something, a decision, a dream, a fear. But the power isn't in the destination. It's in that first step. Use a voice. Use your movements. Let your body tell the story, because your story is worth telling. I thank you, fellow Toastmasters.
Woo, 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 woo. The power of the first step. Wow, definitely there is power in that first step. Well done, Kamohela, for that. Thank you so much for reminding us about the power of the first step. So we'll now move on to our next speaker, and that is Palisa. And I'd like to invite Palisa's evaluator, Hasina, to the virtual stage to give us the speech objectives of Palisa's speech.
Hello, good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guest. Today, I have the privilege of evaluating Toastmaster Palesa Makatu. She is currently at Mastery Level 3 and presenting her second elective project. The title of her speech is Life Partner, and her objective is to practice delivering a social speech. As she speaks, I'll be observing how candidly she connects with us and how effectively she engages the audience with her stage presence. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that, Hasina. And timer, Buntle, please note that this is a 3 to 4 minutes, or you're doing it for 5 to 7 minutes, Palisa.
Uh, I'll try 3 to 4 minutes. I had initially practiced for 5 to 7 minutes, but
All right, well, it's fine.
see where
We
it
can,
goes.
yeah. All right, no, it's fine. We can do 5 to 7 minutes since you practiced that. All right,
Okay.
I was gonna. Okay, 5 to 7 minutes with the speech title Life Partner, Palisa.
He finally came to fetch you. I couldn't be happier for you, sis. You absolutely deserve this. Fellow Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters, wedding guests, ravishing bride, and handsome groom. Good evening. For those of you who are not aware of who I am this beautiful bride's younger sister. And today is the day I have both looked forward to and dreaded. The husband has finally come to collect his wife, and I am in the pits of hell. You see, my sister and I have always been as thick as thieves, and often completing each other's sentences and giggling in disbelief every time we do so. My sister is my best friend. She is my number one cheerleader. I can never keep secrets from her. She knows where the bodies are buried. No, really, she does. My sister and I consider each other as life partners. This is until, of course, 6 years ago when I got married and things changed slightly. Things changed because I got a new life partner. She was relegated from first priority to number 2 in my life. And I began to annoy her. My husband this, my husband that. My husband's coming to collect me. No, I can't hang out with you today. My husband's coming to pick me up. And shame, bless her soul, she was gracious about it. Until one day she gave me a stern but funny warning. Young girl, the day my husband finally comes to fetch me, prepare to be sick of me. I am going to give you the same energy. I am going to my husband you to death. And although we both thought it was a long shot because relationships don't really go as well as we think, it finally happened. The husband decided to come and collect his wife. 2 years ago, when our daily conversations went from daily to about 2 to 3 times a week, I knew something was amiss. I knew that somebody else was taking away her attention. And I figured out it must be a man. And indeed, it was a man. My sister had gotten into a serious relationship and kept it away from me until I complained and she finally revealed that she had met the man of her dreams. A man who loves her wholeheartedly. A man who loves her in her love language. A man who is there for her. And in that moment, I decided to pray. I prayed because I too wanted a brother-in-law. Lo and behold, she finally told me that he had proposed, and I could not be happier for her in that moment. You see, for some of you in this audience who know my sister personally and intimately, you know how amazing she is. My sister loves wholeheartedly. She cares for people. She's loving. She's confident. She has an amazing aura. And that infectious laugh, I can never get enough of it. When my sister chooses you, she chooses you for life. So you, sir, have hit the jackpot. You are about to experience the greatest love you've ever experienced. You have gained a life partner. I have lost one, but you have gained one. And I couldn't be happier to celebrate your union this evening. I would like to give a toast to the happy couple. May I ask that the audience raise their glasses, whatever beverage you're having, please raise your glass as we say a toast to the lovely couple. Okay, we all have our glasses in the air. Thank you. To love, to peace, to choosing each other daily, and to being each other's life partners. Congratulations, you two. I am so excited for you. And to my sister, I know you're about to my husband me to death. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much for that, Palisa, life partner. Very interesting speech. Thank you so much for that. Oh, big hands. So we'll then move on to our next speaker. We have a guest, another visiting Toastmaster with us today, Aldine. And before I call her to the virtual stage, I want to invite the evaluator, Tumelo, to please give us the speech objectives.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Tonight, I have the pleasure of evaluating Aldine Dallas. She's a visiting Toastmaster from Four Ways Firebrand in South Africa, and she's pursuing the Pathway Presentation Mastery Level 3, and she's doing an elective project, Connect with Storytelling. So Connect with Storytelling bids that Aldine just gives a speech or practices using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. So I will be looking out for how she pursues or how she tries to achieve the objectives of the speech. Aldine's speech is titled The Hungry Monster Finds Love, but Toastmaster of the Day, please introduce her. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Yes. So with the speech title, The Hungry Monster Finds Love. The Hungry Monster Finds Love. Aldine.
Please may I ask for a show of hands, how many of you have ever felt so hungry that you actually thought you might die? I don't mean just, oh my gosh, if I don't eat now, I might die. I mean hunger beyond what is tolerable. I see. Thank you for your vulnerability and for sharing that. I'm going to be telling you a story tonight, and I'm going to use candor beyond anything you may have seen. It is heart-wrenching, and it is my story, and it is titled The Hungry Monster Finds Love, because hunger nearly killed me, but it also saved my life. Gaborone Toastmaster Club, the Honorable Chair, and fellow Toastmasters, it is such an honor to be here today. My story started at the age of 3 when I was subjected to intolerable abuse. No child should ever have done and seen what I had to do. And I was blackmailed that if I ever said anything, I would be punished, and so would the love of my life, who was my caregiver at that time. So I was bound to secrecy, but I was also bound to a life of dishonesty. In other words, I couldn't speak out what was happening. I couldn't have candor, the exact opposite. And so what I did from that age of 3 was eat. I ate my words, I ate my feelings, and I ate and I ate and I ate. And it developed into the most horrendous addiction that some people can't relate to. But as bad as alcoholism, drug addiction was my food addiction. And it kept me prisoner for so very many years. But a moment of truth came, because by the time I was 38, that's 35 years of compulsive overeating, that started for 18 of those years, the most horrendous battle with bulimia, because if it goes in and stays in, I would have been obese. And I unfortunately was within a family that aesthetics was the most important thing. I was being weighed and measured daily. So bulimia, for anyone who doesn't know, is when you can't control your hunger, and so you feast beyond what is normal, and then you need to get rid. And you can imagine the ways that that's possible. That 18-year period has killed many people, but I was able to back and forth, overeat, and then try and starve myself, and then vomit or use other ways to get rid of that very precious food. And I was so aware of hunger because in the 80s, there were so many incredible news articles about children in Africa, and I'm an African by very many generations. And so I lived in such guilt and shame. Why could I not stop eating? So this moment of truth, and as Steve Covey actually says so beautifully, a brilliant quote by him, and that is, a moment of choice became my moment of truth. And I was able at the age of 38 to book myself into a rehabilitation center. And I was amongst drug addicts and alcoholics and prisoners, gangsters. And I was like Mary Poppins, who was caught in this insane place. But our problem was the same. And the way they explained it to me was, if this is our soul when you were born, or let me make a nice big round soul, when a trauma happens, and often it's linked to abuse, our soul breaks open. And then because of that brokenness, we try and fill it. And for me, it was with food. but the food was never enough. And my hunger got bigger and bigger until eventually it became alcohol and drugs. And I became a workaholic and I was an attention seeker until eventually I had this monster that was constantly ravenous and it nearly killed me. Because food, yes, you'll be obese and you may have heart disease, but alcoholism is one of the single most awful addictions to live with. And then drug addiction is the next level. Thankfully, by the time I booked myself into rehab at the age of 38, and this was in 2008, I hadn't reached those levels of life-threatening. But my shame and my guilt was beyond anything that you could imagine. I had zero self-worth. I loathed myself, and I didn't have the guts to actually end my life because I lived, thankfully, with the foundation of God inside of me that knew if He created me like this, perhaps He could heal me. And so there are 3 H's that I want to share with you. The one is hunger, the one is hope, and rehab gave me hope. Gave me the 12-step program that allowed me to climb out of my hole. And the Holy Spirit became the polyfiller that filled that brokenness, that filled that crack, that my soul now is back to how God created it. And so that hunger, that hungry monster tried to use against me to kill me, brought me the greatest love of my life, and that is the Holy Spirit. And as we know, it is the Lord and Savior, Jesus, with Father God and Holy Spirit. So those 3 H's I leave you with. Hunger, so often, many of us can relate to it. It's not just food related. We're searching for something, but if you have hope, God will reveal the solution to you. And for me, without judgment, because everybody's God is different, my Lord and Savior gave me that love. It is a romance story beyond my wildest dreams, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Dean. Indeed, the 3 H's. Wow, wow, very interesting. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And in case you joined us, we've just been having our better speaking segment. We actually had 6 speakers, but one of our speakers was not able to be here. She had said she'll try, but I can see it's almost 7 and she hasn't yet joined. So we'll then say we'll come to the end of our first part of our meeting, which is our better speaking segment. So if you've been paying attention and listening to the speakers, we normally then always have a poll where we get to vote for our best effort speaker. So as I launch the poll for the best effort speaker, which, sorry, I'm just trying to look for it now, which will then pop up on your screen, I will then move ahead to invite our timer to please come to the stage and give us the timing for our speakers. So the poll has been launched. So we had 5 speakers, Halaletsang, with Virtues of Friendship, Onkameti, The Power of Being Seen, Kamuhelo, The Power of First Steps, Palesa Life Partner, and Aldine, The Hungry Monster Finds Love. So we'll leave that day running, and I'd like to invite Buntle to the virtual stage to give us the timing for our speakers.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So for the better speaking segment, we started off with Toastmaster Ms. Aida, whose speech was Virtues of Friendship. She spoke for 5 minutes and 4 seconds. And we have Toastmaster and her speech was the power of she's spoke for 6 minutes, 45 seconds. And we had Toastmaster Mogelo with the speech, The Power of First Steps, and she spoke for 4 minutes, 20 seconds. And we had Toastmaster Palisa, whose speech was Life Partner. She spoke for 6 minutes and 17 seconds. And finally, we had our visiting Toastmaster, Ms. Dean, whose speech title was The Hungry Monster Finds Love. She spoke for 7 minutes and 52 seconds. Thank you very much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that, Buntle. And then we will then move on to the impromptu session. So we always say, okay, now it's time for you to relax. So there's an opportunity for people who haven't had a chance to come to the virtual stage to come and give an impromptu speech. So that's just a speech from 1 to 2 minutes. So just try and speak for a minimum of 1 minute. So I will be doing that. So I'd like to invite, if you want to participate in table topics, you can raise your hand. I don't see any hands raised. If I don't see any hands raised, then I'll just pick from people who haven't had an opportunity to speak. And I will start with Tapiwa. Hi, Tapiwa. Hello, Tapiwa.
Oh, hello. Hi, Leah.
Hi.
Hi, Lee. Hi.
Yes. I want you to participate in an impromptu speech. I'll try my best. So you have to speak 1 to 2 minutes. So you speak
Yes.
on, I'll give you a topic and then you speak on it.
Okay, thank you,
So,
Leah.
all right. So my topic for you is share a rock bottom moment that became a turning. Share a rock bottom moment that became a turning point.
Okay, thank you very much, Leah. So to share a rock bottom moment that became a turning point.
Yes.
Thank you very much. There was this little girl who grew up in the village of Dodome, where she had the grandmother and the grandfather only when she was living there. And over the holidays, you'll find that there'll come cousins, relatives from the town. And at that moment, you feel the little girl felt like she's just left behind to live in the cattle post, where there's no TV, where there's no lights, just darkness. Little did she know that when growing up, all that was grooming her, all that was providing foundation, all that was providing comfort of what life is, humble beginnings. And as life progressed, the young girl grew up to go to study in the city, where in the class she became she excelled in her school because she had the foundation of knowing who she is, having the space that indeed, when you have that small corn of love, you have that foundation of believing in yourself, no matter what might be happening with other people's life, you know, and you are motivated inwards that indeed you can do anything and even flourish. So at this moment, that growing up isolated became a burning fire to be the best, to do different in life. So that low life kind of life seemed very low, but it turned out to be a very precious gift that the little girl, that girl who is me, had to cherish and grow it to become something that motivates in life. Thank you very much.
I realized I'm muted. Woo, thank you so much, Tefima, for that. Wow, amazing, amazing. Wow, interesting story. So that's just how it is. For our guests, if you're watching, just speak 1 to 2 minutes. So this is where we practice our impromptu speaking. So do I have another volunteer? Do you have a volunteer, or I should just pick from our guest list? Any volunteers? If I don't see any hands, then I'll go ahead and pick from the list. So let me see here. Hello, Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, Leah.
Hello. Are you a guest or a visiting Toastmaster?
I'm a guest. It's my first time in the Toastmasters program. It's literally my first time for everything.
Oh, wow. Okay. Are you able to switch on your video, or you're not able to switch on your video?
Well, not now.
All right. Okay, that's still fine. So since you're saying it's your first time, let me try and give you something a little bit easier.
Okay.
uh, so my question for you would be, what's the best piece of advice you have ever been given? What's the best piece of advice you have ever been given?
Okay, so what's the best piece of advice I've ever been given, right? The best piece I've ever been given was from my dad. He told me from when I was a kid, he told me to just be myself. So as much as I'm introverted and like my own space and everything, I just uh, I just become myself all the time. I don't try to force things. I don't try to be what I'm not. So I think essentially that's the best advice I've ever received, because it has gotten me through life. I have avoided situations that could land me in trouble or make me uncomfortable. So it really carried me through life, really.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you so much for that, Cynthia. And our guests. So you can see, fellow guests, it's as simple as that. So if there are no hands, remember you can raise your hands so that I don't pick you. Otherwise, I'm scrolling through the list. So the next person I'm going to pick on is Vusi. Hello, Vusi. Hi, Vusi. Okay, Vusi doesn't want to unmute. Let me go to the next person. I see here Lombe. I hope I'm saying that right. Lombe Mwape. Hello. Good evening. Good. Oh, we have a hand there. Buikobo. All right. You can just unmute yourself.
Good evening.
Good evening. I don't know if you're able to switch on your video. All right.
Good evening.
Are you a guest or a visiting Toastmaster?
I'm a guest.
Yeah, a guest. Okay. I'll try and be easy on our guests. So
Yes.
my question for you is, would you rather be the funniest or smartest person in the room? Would you rather be the funniest or smartest person in the room?
Would I rather be the funniest or the smartest person in the room? Tough question. Who is to say that the smart person is smart and the funny person is funny? Who is to define what smart is and what funny is? According to me, it's subjective. So if I was to pick from the two, I'd pick to be the funny person because the funny person is essentially saying, I do not want to put a title to myself. So I am open to being what I am in the moment without putting too much thought and emphasis into positions or titles. So I'd be the funny person. Who knows? Within the funny person might be a smart individual, might be a courageous individual, might be an empathetic individual. But with the smart person, you're limited to being the smart person. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
that. Well done. Wow. Well done. Well done. That's good. Like, this is what impromptu is all about. Us speaking off the cuff. You don't know what I'm going to give you, but you're able to tell us a story, and loved the story that you took us on. Thank you so much for that. I think I have one more question. So anybody, you can raise your hand, or I will just go to my list and pick my final person. Horata. Oh no, no, it says yeah, Horata. Horata, hello. Hello, Horata.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. I don't know if you are able to switch on your video. If you are not, are you a guest or a visiting Toastmaster?
Visitor, it's my first time here. So,
Oh, okay. All right. Your first time here.
yes. Yes.
All right. Okay, I'll try and make sure it's nothing too difficult. Like I said, speaking off the cuff, 1 to 2 minutes. So making it nice and easy. What is your most used emoji and why? What is your most used emoji and why?
Okay, my most used emoji is the laughing emoji. I think because it's simpler to use. It just makes the next person, the person that you be talking to, show that you are also, oh my God.
Continue. You're doing well.
Okay, it shows that it makes the next person, the person that you'll be talking to feel relaxed, to show that you are also engaged in the conversation. So yeah, that's the most used emoji that I use.
All right. No, thank you so much for that, Horata. Yes, the laughing emoji. Definitely a good one to be used. So that would then conclude our impromptu table topic session of our meeting today. So just want to remind you that you should always believe in yourself, because remember, that's the best advice that maybe someone like your dad would have given you. And you might find yourself in a room with other people. Remember, sometimes it's good to be the funny person because you don't limit yourself. And at the end of the day, when you share it with your friends, remember that the laughing emoji ensures that the other person also feels relaxed. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, for being a part of our impromptu table topics session. So at this point, I'd like to invite our Hack Master, who will test us to see how well we were listening this evening. Kahalela, if you could please come to the virtual stage, and I know she would request us to unmute ourselves so that we could answer her questions. Kahalela.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. We have indeed approached the most exciting and fun part of the meeting. So let us test if indeed you guys have been listening. According to Galeletsang, which virtues should we look for in a friend? She mentioned 4 of them.
Compassion, honesty,
Pardon?
Trust.
Trust.
Yes.
Trust.
Yes.
Honesty.
Mention all of honesty.
Pass it on your. All right, let's dive in. Are you currently covered with?
There are 2 more left.
There's a hand.
compassion,
Compassion, yes.
The Gabo.
I believe she said something about having similar moral values or a moral code.
No, she mentioned respect.
Oh, okay.
So it was respect, compassion, and honesty. Next question. Why don't we take friendship seriously when we grow up? Why don't we take friendship seriously when we grow up?
We grew apart.
I get to make money.
We grow apart.
We
Yes.
give
You grow apart.
Okay, another
Because we're
reason.
too busy with work.
Yes. Correct.
we give relationship more attention than friendship.
Yes. How many languages did Monica speak? How many
So many
languages
languages.
Nine.
Yes, 9 languages. Kamogelo said we should use what to tell a story?
Our body.
Mm-hmm. No. Our body movements. Our body movements.
Our voice.
Yes. Alisa raised a toast for what? We joined her in raising that toast. What did we toast to?
My sister's wedding.
Her
Try
sister
again.
finding a life partner.
To
No,
being
try
my
again.
husband to death.
To husband.
Try again, guys.
To love.
We said to 3 reasons.
To love and finding your life partner.
Yes. Last one.
Happiness.
No. Okay, let me
Beginnings.
say the 2 last reasons. To peace and choosing each other daily. Aldine left us with 3 H's. What are those 3 H's?
Hope.
Hunger.
Hunger.
Friendhood. Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
And hope.
Mm-hmm. So that was the end of the quiz. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, and all the participants. You guys, it was a reflection that you guys were truly attentive and you guys listened during the speeches. Thank you. Back to you, Leah.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, people were really listening. I thought some of the questions were hard. I was trying to remember, but I can see people were really paying attention. And obviously, that is the whole purpose of the Hack Master role, is just to ensure that indeed, when we are here, we are present and we are listening. So we'll now move on to our next segment, which is the better listening segment. So I'd like to invite our general evaluator, Tumelo, to please chair the next segment of the feedback for our speakers tonight.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. And as usual, post our prepared speeches, we get the evaluations, because truly here at Toastmasters, we believe that feedback is the breakfast of champions. So without further ado, I'd just like to remind the timer, our evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. So I will introduce each evaluator and ask that they deliver the evaluation of the prepared speech. First up, I'd like to invite Palesa Makato, who was evaluating Khalaleta Muthusi, to come and deliver her evaluation. Palesa, over to you.
Good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and most importantly, Khalaletsang Muthusi. Khalaletsang Muthusi, thank you very much for your speech. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Your speech title was Virtues of Friendship. And the objectives of your speech were to introduce vocal variety and body language to your speech. In terms of the vocal variety, you were to identify pitch, volume, and tone. And for the body language, I was looking for your gestures, right? So first things first, your presentation was well presented. There was a clear introduction, a clear body, and a conclusion where you even highlighted that you are about to conclude by saying, in conclusion, which I appreciated. The second thing that I appreciated about your speech was it was informational. You told us about the good virtues or characteristics of a friendship. You educated us on what a good friendship looks like. All right. However, what I would have loved to see in your speech is more of the body language, because it was an objective of your speech. There was an instance where you spoke about compassion, right? It would have been nice, compassion, some sort of, if somebody can't hear, compassion. And then there was another instance where you spoke about how friendships end. And you said a reason would be because they grow apart. That was an opportunity for you to say, grow apart, some sort of exaggerated body movement. In terms of your tone and your pitch, although you were quite clear, we could hear you, your volume was right, but I believe that your pitch was monotone and you missed out on opportunities to exaggerate your voice, depending on what you were saying. But otherwise, I really, really loved the speech and the presentation. I would like to challenge you, though, going forward, when you have an objective like this, it's important to try and at least get one of the objectives right. And that would be the body language in this case. So going forward, please just practice your exaggerated body language. And I look forward to hearing your next speech. I know that you're going to do well. Thank you.
Thank you, Palesa, for that wonderful evaluation of Khalaletsang's speech. Khalaletsang, please do take note and work to improve on the pointers you've been given. I stepped in to help evaluate our second speaker, who was Unkemetsi Mulongwe. So here goes my evaluation. Good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters. And as Palisa said, good evening most especially to the speaker I got to evaluate today, Unkemeti Mulongo. Unkemeti, congratulations on delivering your second speech, the speech with a purpose, which is a project which helps to teach you how to write a speech in the chronological order of intro, body, conclusion, while delivering or impacting us with a specific purpose. So with that said, Unkemetse, for your benefit, I'll give my evaluation in a three-step format. 3 things you did well, 2 things you may want to improve, and 1 way to challenge yourself. First of all, I believe that you satisfied your speech objectives. Indeed, you delivered a speech that had a purpose. You told us the story of Monica as an inspirational and motivational story of how she was seen and her life drastically improved for the better. And it was true to its title. It was indeed the power of being seen. And this story showed indeed how this title meant what the speech was meant to achieve. The 2 things you may want to improve, however, are that I noticed how you told us the story as if you had also been told the story, meaning it didn't quite hit like you were delivering the speech at first. That is, it started off as you explaining that your speech is called The Power of Being Seen, and therefore it will be the story of Monica. When you could have delved into the story right away and shown or had a clear introduction, not explaining the purpose, but rather to introduce how maybe we might have had a situation or something in relation to how being seen is important, where your body would then be the story of Monica, followed by a conclusion of or a drive home or the call to action as to what exactly you want us to draw from your message. Another thing you may want to improve is unintentional body language. I noticed that at times you were rocking back and forth, much like I did not so long ago. And this can be distracting to someone who is trying to listen to your speech. And at other times, your hands were clasped in front of you. You gave the speech while standing, which was an important opportunity to use to let your body language be intentional and add to the story rather than take away from it. Lastly, 1 way to challenge yourself, as I mentioned before, don't repeat your title of the speech. You've been introduced, and try to let the speech speak for you, meaning try to let the purpose of the speech shine through without having to give a disclaimer beforehand. In summary, the 3 things you did well: you gave us a speech with a purpose. You told a story, an inspirational and motivational story about Monica, and it was extremely true to its title. The 2 things you may want to improve, however, are telling the story in a chronological fashion, that is, with an intro, body, and a conclusion, and also being aware of your unintentional movement. 1 way to challenge yourself is don't repeat the title, but rather have your speech speak for you. With that said, well done, Unkimitsu, on delivering that wonderful speech, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. You will build off of this experience going forward. This is a basic of speech writing going forward. Therefore, you need to add on to as you go on, and I'm sure you will learn more from the projects that come after this one. Thank you so much. Wearing my general evaluator hat now, I'd like to ask that Tato Komani come to the virtual stage to deliver his evaluation of Kamohelo Motseneng's speech. Tato, over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening, especially Kamohelo. I have the privilege of evaluating your speech titled The Power of First Step. Thank you for inspiring us, Kamohelo, with your speech. but my main evaluation will focus on one essential area of effective communication, which was the main purpose of our speech, which is body language. As we know, body language plays a crucial role in conveying messages and engaging the audience. And I believe, Kamogelo, you excelled in several areas while also having room for improvement. Let me start with what you excelled at. I like the use of hand gestures. They were particularly effective. You utilize your gestures to emphasize key points, such as your first step, whispering through the trees, demonstration of no signal with your phone clearly gave context to the speech. Overall, your hand gestures brought energy to the speech and it helped with illustrations. I also like your facial expressions. You demonstrated the range of facial expressions that match the emotional tone of your speech. For instance, when you were showing the expression when you are out of breath, demonstrating that you are out of breath with your facial expression, I felt that you were really out of breath and it really reinforced the message. Now to the other component, areas of improvement. Although the hand gestures were effective at some point, there were a couple of instances where hand gestures could have been more expansive, especially if you were standing, because hand gestures at times goes with your movement. So when you are demonstrating, taking that every step, the use of your foot in that would have underscored the importance of the message being shared. Also with the eye contact, there were certain points not consistent. As you looked away more often, I noticed that you were referring to your journal somehow. So I think where there were moments where we have to really emphasize or points, you missed that part of the point because you were looking away. So what I challenge you with, I challenge you next time to deliver your speech standing. It allows us, even as an evaluator, to measure confidence and also the open gesture so that you can train on that. Also next time, try to memorize your speech as it will allow the use of hand gestures to come effectively. It will definitely enhance your speech. So overall, your use of body language significantly contributed to your effectiveness of your speech, the power of first step. With just minor adjustment to the movement and expansion of those that I suggested, the impact of your delivery would even be greater. So thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you, Kamogelo, for sharing your message and motivating us today. Well done, Toastmaster Kamogelo. I'm looking forward to your next speech. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Tato Komane, for that evaluation of Kamogelo's speech. I take it she has also taken down notes to go and improve on her speaking. I also evaluated, before I go, sorry, I'd like to invite onto the stage Toastmaster Hasina Hamdani, who evaluated Palisa Makato. Hasina, please take the stage. Hello, Hasina.
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Madam Evaluator. And I'm sorry my camera is not working today. Good evening, everyone, once again, and especially Toastmaster Palisa. Thank you for your heartfelt and candid speech. You began with a warm smile and a striking gesture, which immediately connected the audience with a positive energy. Your story about the bond with your sister was sincere and emotionally touching. The idiom thick as thieves brought the relationship alive, and your message felt like it came right from your heart, deeply personal and genuine. The word relegate added a thoughtful depth to your language. Your objective was to practice a social speech, and you met it beautifully. The tone was warm, relatable, and appropriate. Ending with a toast was a nice touch that brought closure and celebration to your message. A couple of gentle suggestions. First, your opening was visually expressive. Perhaps asking a rhetorical question could have sparked audience reflection right from the beginning. And second, although you tried to engage us with a toast at the end, being in a virtual setting limited its impact. Not a fault of yours, but could be something you could have think something you could have adapted something else, like putting a emoji or say thumbs up if you also have such relationship, such beautiful with your sisters, and then you felt like now breaking up, but you are still very happy about your sisters or your whoever you love the most. So overall, your speech was very impressive. It is like it reflected authenticity and candor. With just a bit more energy and earlier engagement, your next social speech will surely leave a lasting moment. Well done, and I'm looking forward for your next engaging speech. Thank you. Back to Madam Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hasina Hamdani, for that delivery of Balisa's evaluation. Balisa, thank you very much, and I hope you took notes. With that said, I had the pleasure of evaluating our visiting Toastmaster tonight, Aldine Dallas, who gave us a beautiful speech, The Hungry Monster Finds Love. Aldine started off, okay, let me take off my general evaluator hat and start my evaluation. Good evening once again. I had the pleasure of evaluating you, Aldine, who gave us or graced the stage today at Gaborone Toastmasters. You started off with an interesting beginning where you threw a question to us, your audience, and you had us wondering what you'd say next. Especially with a title like The Hungry Monster Finds Love, we were waiting eagerly to hear what you had to say. You went on to give us a beautiful yet gut-wrenching speech about how your 3-year-old self endured so much abuse, and ended off with giving us those 3 H's to take home with us. And in the spirit of threes, I'll also deliver my report in 3 things you may want to improve, 3 things you did well, 2 things you may want to improve, and 1 way to challenge yourself. First and foremostly, the things you did well. You satisfied the objectives of your speech, which were to deliver a speech which is a story or a story within a speech, however you took it. But indeed, you satisfied us and gave us a personal story, one of resilience and faith. Second, you were clear and confident and easily understood. You have a great command of the English language and even took it a step further to include both our theme and our word of the day, candor. Lastly, you gave the speech while standing but had intentional body or hand gestures which added to your speech. You spoke of us being whole and how we slowly get chipped away. That was a wonderful use of hand gestures. 2 things you may want to improve, however. As I said, you delivered your speech while sitting. Perhaps had you given your speech while standing, we would have been able to appreciate most or intentional body language, at least from the waist up. This way, we would have appreciated a lot more than just those impactful and gestures. Another thing is, although you were quite clear and confident, your tone was somewhat monotone throughout the speech. Although you were talking of how bad you went from being or suffering or going through that experience of bulimia, and even when you found your great love, the great love of your life in Christ, there were opportunities for you to vary both tone, pitch, volume, and speed in your speech. Lastly, one way to challenge yourself, you delivered a speech that was a story. Already, that adds color into your speech because you are drawing this picture for us to see. But there's an opportunity for you to add speech quotations. Who said what when to you? By doing so, you get the opportunity to both use vocal variety and add intentional body language. So in future, consider adding speech quotations into your speech. In summary, the 3 things you did well: you satisfied your objectives, you told that personal story, you were clear, you were confident and easily understood, and you used intentional hand gestures, something I'm not doing very well right now. But the 2 things you may want to improve are on your vocal variety and your body language. And one way to do this is to challenge yourself by adding speech quotations. Consider who said what to who when in your speech. This adds so much color. With that said, thank you, Aldine, for visiting our club. We look forward to maybe hosting you another time because your speech content is indeed very interesting and very informative. The speech was sad but quite informative, educated us on bulimia and even faith-based matters. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator. Yes, I come back as General Evaluator. Madam Zoom Master, are you ready to run the poll for the best evaluator?
Yes, I'm ready to run that.
Yes,
So
please
I
run the
am
poll.
okay.
Yes.
I've launched it.
So, yes. So while our poll is running, I'd like to ask that my grammarian and my R&R counter, who has a dual role, please get ready to grace our stage, and he will be followed by our timekeeper. So we have
How many
42%.
minutes do I
Please
have
keep
for
voting. Timekeeper, please give him 4 minutes, 2 for each row.
2 for each row?
Will that suffice? Yes,
Okay,
please.
great. Thank you once again, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. I really enjoyed the speeches. Congratulations to everybody for really successful speeches. Once again, let me remind everybody what the word of the day is. It's candor, which is the quality of being open and honest. Frank, just being frank. Today we did not use that word a lot. There were only 2 people, Nkemetse and Aldine, who Aldine used it twice, and Nkemetse used it once, but everybody else didn't. May we please use the word of the day as many times as possible. And then what we had is improper grammar usage. There was only one improper grammar usage, going back to, which I would suggest referring to or in reference to. The quotes, there were a lot of quotes that I liked a lot. Khaleletsa used, we need friendship for a better quality of life. This is what I believe in also. Friends always make me happy and smile. Kamohelo had a lot of quotes, winds whispering through the trees, comparing fear to a cliff, and many more. I like the way that she used her words and the sayings, the quotes, and how she did her word play. Palesa also used quotes as thick as thieves, infectious love. And also, am I slaughtering this word? Aldine, am I saying it correctly? Okay. She used a phrase that said, a moment of choice becomes a moment of truth. And there's a word that I learned from her today, revision, what's the word again?
I'm not sure. Try and say it and I'll think.
Ravenous.
Ravenous, yes. Very hungry.
Ravenous. I had it saved. Ravenous. Okay.
Amazing.
Which means extremely hungry. Okay. The arms and the earth. We use those words quite a lot, around about 14 times. Can you please reduce on them? Unkemetse used the arms as 4 times. Then from the table topics, we had Tapua who used it once, Cynthia used it once, Bukobo used it once, and Horata used it 3 times. But everybody else didn't use the arms and earths at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for you, Bikuza, playing that double role as iron arm counter and grammarian. Indeed, we're always open to learning and improving our vocabulary. I did not use Canada. I'm guilty for that. But we do intend on fixing our grammar. As for our iron arms, I've heard that if you speak slow enough, at least your mind or your brain won't short circuit because your mind would want to move. But take a pause, breathe. Most of the time, we don't even recognize or realize that you are taking a pause to breathe. So just speak slowly, and that will help eliminate the R and arms. But thank you. Lastly, I'd like to call upon our timekeeper, Bontle Dixon, to deliver her final timekeeper's report, after which I will close off with a small general evaluation of our meeting. Bontle, over to you.
You can speak, Bontle.
Thank you. Had a bit of a network glitch there. Let me first say thank you so much, Toastmaster Bikuza, for that candor delivery of our grammar and R's and ums. So from the evaluations, we have evaluator Palesa speaking for 3 minutes, 8 seconds, and evaluator Dumelo spoke for 4 minutes, 12 seconds. Evaluator Tato spoke for 3 minutes, 58 seconds. Evaluator Hasina spoke for 2 minutes, 34 seconds. And evaluator Dumelo again spoke for 4 minutes, 18 seconds. And last but not least, our R and arm counter as well as the grammarian spoke for 3 minutes, 35 seconds. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, timekeeper Bontle. I'm sorry I had a lot to say, but I'll keep my evaluation of our meeting very short. I'm biased, as I always say, this is my club, but the most prominent thing I wanted to mention as part of my evaluation was just to encourage our members, all of you who are on the call today, to participate and take up roles. Our meetings aren't just about speaking. Speaking, I mean delivering a formal or prepared speech. There are other opportunities for you to practice public speaking in or by way of our other roles. Taking Toastmaster of the Day, for one, is one thing that can teach you organizing, time management, and several other skills. So take advantage of your membership and take up those roles and exercise that public speaking muscle. Just this weekend, I was telling everyone how public speaking, the moment you stop, you regress. So if you aren't giving a speech, take up a role. Otherwise, it was always a great meeting. It's always a great time here at Gaborone Toastmasters. We start on time, we try to stay on time. But I think as far as my general evaluation goes, that's about it. We hear a lot of evaluations from other people visiting our club, but we've tried to keep up the standard and we are only likely to improve going forward. With that said, I'd like to ask the Zoom Master. Zoom Master, are you ready for rewards and recognitions?
Yes, I am.
Yes, please. Please take it away.
Just waiting for it to come. I hope it has come. I can't tell very well now. Is there anything on the screen? Okay, there we go.
It's loading. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll start with our best evaluator, as we always do. So according to what was voted, it was Tumelo Mapalala. Ooh, well done, well done. And then our best effort speaker of the night, based on your votes, was Aldine Talas. So well done, well done. Again, based on your votes. And then we always say thank you to people who come to we appreciate you, guests, Toastmasters. So we had Kamukelo, who was a speaker today, and we also had Aldine, who was a speaker in our meeting today. So thank you so much for being a part of our meeting today. We'll definitely forward you our certificate of appreciation. And we have a newly registered member, registered last week. Unfortunately, she had some personal items to deal with today, but we have a new member, Changu, who will be joining us. She's supposed to have given her icebreaker speech today, but hopefully then she'll give it in our next meeting. So we have a new member joining, who has joined us. So that is Changu. We'll be seeing her being celebrated very soon on our social media platforms. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Madam Zoom Master. I have a few announcements before I close the meeting. But as far as announcements go, our next meeting is next week, Tuesday, the 17th of June, and it will be in person at Lifeline Medical Center in Ludumadumani or Mogoditane, just past Bula Spa. But if you are not available for that one, we still have our Zoom meeting. Our Zoom meeting will be on the 24th of June, right here on this platform. So for our members that are out of the country or not in Gaborone, we can see you on the 24th of June right here. And as for a final announcement, our club officer elections, we've come to the end of our Toastmasters year, and unfortunately, my term is coming to an end, meaning we need to pass on the baton to the next batch of club officers. Our elections will be at 8 o'clock. That is immediately after this meeting. So unfortunately, I don't know, Leah, will we have a moment for guests? But I will request that we take a group photo. Can we take a group photo? Everyone, please just switch on your camera and we take a picture for our thumbnail for our YouTube. If you haven't already followed us, please follow us on YouTube. We are Gaborone Toastmasters Reloaded. Leah, please assist with the photo so we take
All
a
right.
picture. I know we have a lot of guests tonight. I don't think we'll be able to give them a moment, but because we have our elections. But maybe should they stay on the call, yeah?
I think we won't have sufficient time.
Yeah, we won't. So please switch on your camera so we take a group photo for our thumbnail.
Okay, I'm
Big
still waiting for
smile.
cameras. Okay, that's slowly coming on. That's slowly
Yes.
coming.
Big
Oh,
smiles.
all right. So I want to see some big smiles. Okay. And I'm taking the picture now. Just hold on. Seem to be having a technical issue.
Oh no, my smile is tired.
Okay. Okay, I managed.
Yes.
I managed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined us. Members, please stay on the call after I give my closing remarks. It's important that you stay for our club elections because your vote matters. This is your club. Therefore, the leadership that helps this club is because of your joint endorsement. So, with that said, as we close tonight's meeting, remember that the moments of truth are all around us. They don't always come with fanfare, but when we reflect on them, we realize that they were the moments that made all the difference. Thank you all for your presence, your stories, and for embracing your own moments of truth. Let's keep learning, leaning into these moments and using them to grow as communicators and as leaders. So, see you next time, and until then, may your moments of truth continue to guide you and inspire you. Thank you and good night. Only those that are not members should leave the call.
Thank you. Thank you. I must just say, everyone, this was the most outstanding meeting. Professionalism and the slick timing. I am in awe. I'm serious. I have not been on a meeting that has run so brilliantly. I think you have got so much talent in this room, and I'd love to come back